Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about the 1% strategy. This is an updated video that I'm doing on the 1% strategy that we have been following. But before I get into that 1% strategy, very briefly, let me explain. Right here, I'm using the TradingView charts. And on the right side, you'll see my watch list. And you see here where it says monthly, weekly, daily. The way I select the stocks to trade, and remember, I only trade those stocks. I trade the ones where I find the 20-period moving average, which is blue on my chart, and the 200-period moving average aligned something like this, where the 20 is above the 200 on the monthly chart, on the weekly chart, and on the daily chart. And some that are not old enough for the monthly chart, that means if it's not been there like 15 years, I may use just the weekly and the daily charts. That's all I'm going to say about that. And those are the only ones I trade. So if you want to know more about how to select stocks for your watch list, take a look at my YouTube channel. You will find several videos on how I select stocks to trade. So now let me quickly get to my 1% strategy. Remember, I only use my 1% strategy on these types of stocks. Okay, so here's what I do. I'm looking for a flat 200-period moving average, almost flat. By the way, I'm using a 5-minute chart, which means that each candle represents 5 minutes of trading. I'm looking for an almost flat. I realize this is not exactly flat, but I'm looking for an almost flat 200-period moving average. And I'm looking for a 20 that is dropped below the 200, as you can see here. And I want to be able to get a 1% profit from my point of entry. By the way, I entered somewhere about here, and I put a 1% marking here, and I've already placed an exit, a sell order at this level. So I'm just waiting. And you see all this red right here? It's facing resistance at the 200, at the 20-period moving average. Okay, so I'm going to show you a drawing that I've made that will explain this. So here's the basic concept. Enter or buy when the 20 moving average is below the flat 200 moving average, or approximately flat, with a possible 1% gain before reaching the 200 moving average. Set a sell order at 1% above the purchase price. The GTT could be set immediately at the purchase if you're using this Kite app for Zerodha in India. So if you're trading outside of the country, you may have other brokers that you're using, broker platforms that you're using, and I don't know how you'd be able to, if you'll be able to set it at the purchase, but you can do it even afterwards. That's not a problem. So this strategy will work in any markets, in other countries as well as India, and I'm trading India, so this is what I'm talking about here. So here's a 200-period moving average. This is just a drawing right here to show you the concept. A flat 200, approximately flat, and then I want a 20-period moving average that has dropped below that. And now I'm looking for a 1% possible gain before reaching the 200-period moving average. Okay, so let's say that if I entered here, I want a 1% gain before reaching that. This right here is the basic concept that I'm using. That's it. Now, if you want, you can take a screenshot of this and save it. All right, that's what I've been using. Now, I began using this approximately February, almost a little bit over a year ago, January, February of last year. And I began setting a 0.5%, half a percentage, and then I began, moving it up to a 1% gain, and that seems to work pretty good. And once I started doing that. I began to make regular profits, and people in our Trading Today Signal group also began to make regular profits. So let me repeat this. You buy or you enter when the 220M moving average is below a flat 200 moving average, with a possible gain of 1% before reaching the 200 moving average. So here it is. Here's a flat 200 and the 20 dropping below. All right. And there is a 1% possible gain before reaching the 200. All right. Let me look at a live chart. Let me go back to the one we were at. Okay. See, here's where I had entered this morning, and I'm waiting for it to come up. All right. Let's see. And it should sell automatically because I've already set a sell order at 1%. Okay. So here are several additional. So that's the basic concept right there. I'm using a 5-minute chart, looking for a flat 200. I want the 20-period moving average dropping below with a 1% gain possible before reaching the 200. Okay. So now several concepts I want to share with you that you need to know along with this. Okay. Several additional things. These are extra, free of charge. All right. Here we go. But of course, everything on this channel is free of charge. But I want to just share some other things as well that are important to this. Now, if you notice, here's my 200, which is the black, and the 20, which is the blue. You'll notice that the 20-period moving average pulls away from the 200, but then it comes back close to the 200 again. The 20-period moves away from the 200. You see that? And then it comes back close to the 200 again. And you will see this being repeated. Here also, the 20 moved away, came back together. 20 moved away, came back together. All right? And this is the constant thing you will see with stocks on any time frame. I'm using the 5-minute candle, and you see that happening here again and again and again. So what's going to happen in the future? Can I foretell the future? Well, of course, I cannot foretell the future. I'm not a prophet for stock markets. But by looking at the past performance, I noticed that the 20 and the 200 seems to come close and separate and come close and separate. Now that the 20 is below the 200, I entered there expecting that this would go back. All right, that's one perspective you need to know, the 20 and the 200. Second thing I want you to know is that the price and the 20 stay close to each other. The price and the 20-period moving average. See, the price pulls away from the 20-period moving average, but then it comes close to 20 and stays close. You see this? Now here, the price moved away from the 200 moving up, and then it comes back close to 200. Now, partially, the price came down and the 20 came up. Either way, they come back together. Here again, the price went down below the 220, and then it came back up. The price came below the 20-period moving average, and it came back close. The price came below the 20-period moving average. That's when I entered right here. Okay. And then see what happened? The price came back to the 20-period moving average. Now, I have the expectation that the price will now, and the 200 will go up to the 200. Of course, the 200 can come back down as well. Okay, but now the 200-period moving average, because it calculates 200 of these 5-minute candles, it doesn't move as quickly as the 20-period moving average. Anyway, these are the concepts that I have shared with you that you need to know additionally to that. Now, understand support and resistance as well. You will see that the 20-period moving average often acts as a resistance. See that? There's a resistance right there, and it pulled back down. There, it faced a resistance here, but this time it broke through the resistance. You see that? Now, the 200 often is a stronger resistance than the 20. That's why I'm trying to get a 1% before I get to the 200. Now, Some of you might be asking, why did you set a 1%? Why not 2? Why not 5? Why not 10%? Sure. Now, if you look on a daily chart, you will see the movements much more clearly where there is, this is a weekly chart. Let me go to the daily chart of VBL, all right? And you will notice that on a daily chart, each day, there'll be movements up and down on the charts. Let me get this moved. Since I'm recording and doing all of this together, my computer is not responding as quickly as I wanted to. And all right, see right here. Okay, what I want you to notice is that this is a daily chart. That means one candle represents 1 day of prices. One candle represents 1 day of prices right here. See? So, so sometimes within the day itself, there will be a movement of 1% and even more, okay, within the day itself. Now, let me see how much it has moved today already on this particular. Today, the movement is 3.7% from where it had opened already. So there is a more than 1% possibility right there. And this is last few days ago. And let's see what kind of a movement there was there. Look at that. Within that 1%, there was over 4%. Okay. Now, I don't have any way of predicting that, but during that day, there would be several opportunities, okay, during these days where I could gain that 1%. Okay. Now, here are a few days where everything seems to be going sideways, but let's take a look at what happened during the pretty much the whole, you know, that whole week. Look at that, 5%, 5.5%. So if you look at the 5-minute chart of any one of these days, you will find several 1% movements. Okay, let me go back to the chart. Here it is. That's what we're looking for, a 1% move up. Okay, now before I close the video, let me give you a review of the 1% strategy. What you do is you buy, enter when the 20-period moving average is below a flat 200-period moving average. Remember that I'm using a 5-minute candle. I forgot to place that here. Okay, use a 5-minute candle. I will enter that in later. Using a 5-minute candle. Now you can use a 10-minute candle, 2-minute candle. You can do all that. That's fine. But I'm using a 5-minute candle. Enter or buy when the 20 moving average is below the flat 200 moving average. You're almost flat. Okay. I don't want 200-period moving average. That's like a 45-degree angle coming straight down. I don't want that. That is not a good sign. I'm looking for a flat. Sometimes you'll find a 200-period moving average that's, slanted upward. Those are nice as well. But more often you'll find it, you'll do good if you find a flat one. So enter when the 20-period moving average is below a flat 200 moving average, like this, with a possible 1% gain before reaching the 200 moving average. Okay, so let's suppose that you entered somewhere around here. You want to calculate, is there a 1% gain? All right, set a sell order at 1% above the purchase price. That's it. And buy and let it sell. Whatever your quantity is, you might be using 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, whatever it is, set a sell order at 1% above the purchase price. Now, how do you calculate this 1% gain possibility? Now, I mentioned to you that some brokers, but actually I've only found one in India. Zerodha is the only one that does this. Have the option to set a 1% sell order at the time of purchase, which is very nice. But many don't have that. So if yours do not have that, here's what you can do. On TradingView, you can go to this palette here and find price range. Click on price range and then select wherever you're going to enter. Like, let's say you're entering right here, okay? And then you drag this up. Here it is. Let me delete that and do another one. That one didn't do well. Here it is. So let's say you entered here, and you can just click and drag. Look at that. Drag it up to about 1% right there. See, that's 1%. And then once you set that, you have, let's say that you sold it and you want to set it at that proper price. You can move it up like this and find your entry price on the bottom. See that? That's your entry price right there. You can do it that way. Or you can double click, all right, or double tap on this, okay, and set the coordinates. See the first price bar? Look at that. You can set the purchase price right there, and then you can adjust it automatically. Let's say, for example, 25.62. Let's say I purchased it at 25.65, 25.65. Okay, and I press OK. All right. $25.65. I would drag it down to 1%. There it is. Okay. So if it was 25.65 was my entry, 1% would be 24.90. I know this is not a reasonable placement right here, but that's fine. But you see how it can be done. All right. You can either double tap this or double click, or you can go here on the right side, click on more, and then you click on, you should be able to get, let's see, settings. No, it's not there. I don't know. Okay. On the mobile app, I usually click here and I get settings. Okay, I think you have settings right here. Here it is. Yeah, there it is. That gives it to you right there. And then set whatever your purchase price was. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm done with the video. All right, let me go back to my whiteboard and show you what I have. All right, using a 5-minute chart. Enter when the 20 moving average is below the flat 200 moving average with a possible 1% gain before reaching the 200 moving average. Set a sell order at 1% above the purchase price. Okay, here it is, 1% possible gain before reaching the 200, and take the 1%, sell, and get out. Now, once you have set the sell order, it should automatically sell at that price. Now, what do you do with this? Well, you keep doing this again and again and again. Day after day, week after week, month after month. Grow your capital each month by this 1% strategy, and then add to your capital. I want to encourage everyone in the Trading Today group, every month, add 1%, add about 10% of your income, or at least some amount. Okay, every month, keep adding, and keep adding. That's what I want to encourage you, because once you continue to raise your capital again and again every month, your profit also will raise the capital. So you're adding profits, you're adding 10%, adding profits, adding your, like that. You keep doing that, and then you'll end up after some time, depending on how you do this, you'll end up with a second income that develops, and then ultimately your second income will hopefully exceed your primary income. And that's what I'm hoping for as well to do for myself. And I'd like to let you know that I'm almost there, where it is very close to my monthly income. And you might be thinking, oh, that means your monthly income might be pretty low. Well, compared to other people, it may be a bit low, but it does the trick, right? And you keep adding to your capital. All right, I hope this helps. If you have any doubts, questions, leave it in the comment box below, in the comments below. And make sure you check out our YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, and keep doing this again and again and again, and keep watching the different videos. And remember, the only thing that I'm using here is a 200 moving average and the 20-period moving average. Before, I was using a 60-period moving average along with this. I'm not using that any longer, and but this should work for you just like this. And you should be able to use a free trading view charts to be able to do this as well. Okay, let me go back to what I was doing here on the 5-minute chart where I had entered. See that? I'm still waiting, and that 200, the 20-period moving average is still, that area is still a strong resistance. Let's see if it breaks through. By the way, talking about support and resistance, look at this. I'm going to put a horizontal line to demonstrate this to you. Okay, I'm going to place a horizontal line right about here where I am facing this resistance. Now, if you look back, see that? At one point, this line or this area, not just a particular price point, but this area was a support and the price would not go any further. See, the price was dropping, and then it got to here. And this area functioned as a support and the price went back up. But then again, the price began to drop. It dropped below that area and then it came back up. Now look at that. That support resistance and the 20-period moving average, both of it is working together now as a very strong resistance to keep it from going up. All right. Now, once this moves up, this area, this line or this area becomes a support and the price would have difficulty going further down. Now, if you look further, you'll see other places where this area acts as a support. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. And let me know if you have questions down below, and make sure you to subscribe to this channel as well. Thank you. Have a great day and God bless you.